Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Dietrich, and today we are test driving a new Subaru Crosstrek. This is the 2024 model, redesigned for this year. This is a base model, not a wilderness, not a sport, just a base, the least expensive one that you can get. And we are doing with it what people don't normally do, or maybe don't do as much as they should, and that's take it off-road a little bit. I mean, this is off-road-ish, dirt roads, bumpy roads, whatever. And I absolutely love a Subaru Crosstrek in this environment, because you're not gonna get this kind of confidence from a Kia Seltos or a Toyota Corolla Cross. Crosstrek has more ground clearance. Crosstrek has a better suspension for this sort of thing. Crosstrek has a better all-wheel drive system, which is not even optional. And I have owned 6 Subarus myself in the past, and this is maybe what I miss the most about them, is just that confidence that regardless of weather or lack of road or having a road, you're gonna get there just fine with no drama. But now we're on the road, so let's see what she's got. This is the 2-liter 152 horsepower engine, same exact engine they used in the old Crosstrek since 2018, and darn near the same engine as the one they used before that. The original Crosstrek had this same engine, but it didn't have direct fuel injection, so it had 4 less horsepower. Of course, it is now possible to get a more powerful engine in a Crosstrek Limited, or a Crosstrek Sport, or a Crosstrek Wilderness. So if you would like a little bit beefier performance out of your Crosstrek, the 2.5 liter is a worthwhile upgrade. On paper, it's 30 horsepower. It feels like a little bit more than that when you drive them. I've driven several 2.5 liter Crosstreks over the years, and they definitely are faster, and they definitely are a little bit more fun to drive. But the base model and the premium with the 2-liter 152 horsepower engine are really just fine. They do what they need to do, and you know, as long as you're not afraid to floor it getting onto the freeway, which you shouldn't be, as long as you maintain your vehicle properly and make sure that the oil levels are all good, then you won't have a problem. The handling on this new Crosstrek, to me, is slightly worse than the old one. It feels like they've tried to make this car more refined. It is a little bit quieter. They added more sound deadening, and you can definitely notice that. But just like, I don't know, it's like they made the suspension softer to where you have more body roll like that than you would have had in the old one, but it doesn't necessarily feel smoother to me than the old one did. The second generation Crosstrek, which was the one they made from the 2018 to the 2023 model year, was an extremely smooth car to drive. So I don't, you know, yeah, this is quieter, 100%, that's true. But I feel like the handling's worse. I feel like it's somehow not quite as nice to drive because it's not quite as responsive. And this is the first 2024 that I've driven, but I drove a lot of the older ones. So that's an interesting thing. But again, you know, it kind of depends on what your standards are and what your expectations are. I think for the most part, the kind of people who are interested in this car will be very happy with it from a driving perspective. Ever since it first came out, people complained on the internet that the 2-liter engine didn't have enough power. I mean, again, that's a matter of perspective. I think it has adequate power. It's certainly better than a Honda HR-V, I can tell you that. Oh, yes. Feel the CVT. It sounds somehow a little bit more refined just because you don't get as much noise as you did out of the old one because of the extra sound deadening on this newer version of it. And kind of paradoxically, if you get the 2.5 liter, it is a little bit quieter because it doesn't have to work as hard. So the 2.5 liter is even more refined than this, and that's another thing that kind of makes that a worthwhile upgrade potentially over the 2.0. We'll get it out on the freeway and see how it does there. All right, so we are gonna merge it onto the freeway with 152 raging Subaru horsepower. No real trouble getting up to speed, even though that on-ramp was relatively long and downhill. Smooth ride at 65 miles an hour. There's a refinement check for you over not the greatest pavement in the world, but not the worst either. A little bit of tire noise, no real wind noise to speak of. If you need to pick up a little speed to pass somebody, no trouble at all. I had a previous generation Impreza sedan that had this engine and transmission and very similar body structure, both built on the global platform, although this new Crosstrek has been updated. But that was a great road trip car. Took it on several like 500-mile one-way journeys and no trouble whatsoever. Very comfortable, fuel efficient. These are good freeway cars. That is the thing about the Crosstrek. This car, you can take it wherever you want to take it. You want to go on a dirt road? Great. You want to go on a freeway? Great. You want to go skiing? Great. You want to go in the snow? Great. And it's not just a pose. It doesn't just look that way. It is that way. I respect it for that reason. And if you really are thinking to do off-roading or driving in snowy, icy conditions on a regular basis in your tiny SUV, the Crosstrek honestly probably is the best choice if you're going to be utilizing the all-wheel drive system, because first of all, it's standard, so you don't have to pay extra for it or try to track one down at a dealer that has the options you like with all-wheel drive. And second of all, it really is the best all-wheel drive system in its class. Part of the reason being because it is standard, so the whole car was designed from the ground up to have it. They didn't take a front-wheel drive car and kind of graft an all-wheel drive system onto it. So if you're going to use the all-wheel drive a lot and you want, you don't just want the rugged look, you want the rugged abilities, I would say this is probably the best choice in the class. If you just like the looks and you're not going to do a whole lot of off-roading or driving in the ice or the snow, then the choice is kind of yours. There are other good cars in this class. I think this one just kind of sticks out as the most heavy-duty of them. And here we go, hitting some traffic at 1:42 p.m. Although I am in the city of Corona, which is probably just above Gaza City as far as worst cities to drive through on Earth. For some reason, there's always some manner of something going on the freeways in Corona, California. We're up to 47 miles an hour. It is a very comfortable ride. But again, somehow the handling is it's just a little more wobbly than the last generation Crosstrek was. It doesn't inspire quite the same confidence. But it takes a set and plows through. Certainly not a bad handling car, it's just the suspension isn't quite as well controlled somehow, which is strange to me. But anyway, as far as driving goes, that's pretty much all I have to say about the new base model Subaru Crosstrek. I did do a full review on this car. If you'd like to see more details on it, you can check the description or the pinned comment to have a look at that. Leave me a comment if you have anything you'd like to tell me. I do read them. And please like my video, subscribe to my channel, and have a fantastic day. Bye-bye.